Hey everyone, welcome to part 2. I have put on a hat. It's a nice little fish on it because I was really annoyed by that piece of hair that was dangling around. So you have received the credentials to log into Qualtrics, and when you do that, immediately you will see this dashboard. Now, you guys are all very tech savvy, so there's not a lot that I really need to explain because you're so smart and get it right away. But here on the left-hand side, we have different folders for our projects. Now, I am going to ask you for this year, 2020, put your surveys in here. If you want to take a look at some previous surveys that have been done, you can do that. However, note that there won't be a lot of A/B tests, as this is something new that's asked for in the work field, and I want to prepare you guys more than ever before. So, going ahead, we will create a new project. So to create a new survey, you want to create a new project. You will have some options. There are a lot of, this is why I love Qualtrics. Qualtrics is like, honestly, Qualtrics is like the bomb.com for surveys. It's so great. Like, you know, if you go into the working world and need to do like consumer research surveys, like just use my Qualtrics credentials, log in, look at these pre-made surveys. Oh, I love this so much. Like, it's so great. Anyways, okay, let's just do the basics. So we're going to create our own survey, and we are going to call it, our PRS survey. So of course we want to get started. We've named our survey. Bam. Now we will start to write the questions. Actually, no, we won't. Okay, pause. So, okay, so now you see just a general layout. Ignore this, ignore this, ignore all of this. And right now, we're just going to focus on the right-hand side. Okay, so delving into this, we are going to pretty much ignore a lot of the stuff that's on the top for now. Let's just see. So we start off with the first question that we can write. So the first question that we want to write, of course, is our statement of consent. This is basically, you know, I agree to give consent for my anonymous data to be used for academic purposes. Something along those lines. And of course, we want to now add the choices of yes or no. And you will see here, there are 3 choices available. And the nice thing about Qualtrics is it has all the fun question things that we can do on the side. So we want to have no, and we can also ask Qualtrics to make some automatic choices. Look at this. I love this. I love this so much. Anyways, let's just go down to, okay, you can say yes and no. I don't know why it automatically put up the 2 no's, but again, just edit it down. Nice. Now, it is very good to get in the habit of placing your questions in different blocks. A lot of people forget to do this, and this will make organization of your survey so much easier. And this is so important. You have to do this when it comes to A/B testing. You have to do this. So we are going to add a new block of questions. And this block of questions, we're going to just type it in as our demographic questions. So here we can start off. Let's just say, we can ask, what gender do you identify with? And again, male, female. I'm a fan of inclusivity. So I will say other. And because there's a lot of different gender identities, I'm going to click this down arrow, which gives us more options for our response categories, and say we will allow text entry. So if somebody can write in what they want to write in, that's great. Now look for if there's any suspicious or if there's any joke answers, then remove all of this person's information. Just, you know, when we download it in Excel, delete the row. Okay, so this is a nice example of a question that has different response categories. let's create a new question that has that requires somebody to input text. So let's ask, how old are you? Or maybe better question is, what is your age? Now, it would take a long time to put in like 18, 19, 20. So let's have a text entry. So here on the right-hand side, we can actually change the question type, and we will change this to be a text entry. Again, you see the down arrow on the side, so we can, if we wanted to include an essay, what is your age? Please write an essay. Of course, we don't want that, so we just want a single line. Now, another cool thing with Qualtrics is that we can limit this just to numbers. So, in addition to having different question types, we have some more important options. Actually, before we begin, it's important to note these validation options of forced response. Forced response means that if the respondent doesn't answer your question, they will immediately not be able to continue. It will flag them like, hey, please fill in this question. You didn't fill it in, it's missing. If this is not checked, then you might have respondents that miss your question. It happens a lot. People think that they've answered all the questions. They've actually missed a couple. And unfortunately, for survey research, we really do need all answers for every question. In order to be a complete survey, we need all responses. So we want to click force option, and you'll see a little star now appears. So let's click this again, force response. Great. So now, moving forward, cool thing, we have some more validation types. So what this means is that it will look at what has been input into these fields and just verify that this is correct. For me, I want to put in a content validation. So I want Qualtrics to validate the type of content that's being input into this text box. So I don't want an email address, phone number. I would like a number. Scroll down. Yeah, great. So what that means is that if somebody puts in, if they try and spell out 3 or 30 or 40, they can't. That has to be they have to type it in as a number. So only numbers are allowed next. Cool. Let's go into our next question. How old are you? We can also ask, what is your highest completed education? We can say primary school, high school, and I would like to actually have more options than just 3. So I'm going to move over and I'm going to increase the amount of choices. Associates, degree, bachelor's, degree, master's degree, and maybe one more for it. Wonderful. 30. Cool. Okay. So let's say that these demographics are done. I'm going to add a new block of questions, and now I'm going to ask for the pre-measure. So let's say, what is your, how often do you read online articles or online magazines? Then, as we mentioned before in class, it's nice to get, not to ask for a very specific and precise number, because that's really tough on our respondents' cognitive loads when we ask, for these precise details. So let's just say something like, often do you daily? Perfect. Qualtrics filled it in 4 to 6 times a week, 2 to 3 times a week, once a week. I actually want to put in monthly, so I'm going to increase the choices, and I want it to be a 7-point scale. So once a week, once a month, once a year. Never. Groovy. Okay. What is your attitude towards reading online magazines? here again, we can play around with these automatic choices from Qualtrics. So, what is your attitude? Let's just say good to bad. Sure. Now, one of my favorite question types, actually, I'm such a nerd in this regard, and I love it so much, but one of my favorite question types is this scale matrix. So one of the things that we can do, we can create a new question, but instead of a multiple choice question and all the beautiful different types of multiple choice questions, I want to have a matrix table. This just allows us to ask a lot of different types of statements very quickly. So this really reduces the cognitive load for our respondents if we organize our questions like this. So you can just say, to what extent do you agree or disagree with the following statements? Online magazines are a waste of time. Online magazines should be read by everyone. I enjoy spending my day reading online magazines over other online activities. Then we can change our, we have different, 3 statements. Do we want more? No, but we could. Scale points, we want to have, say, 5 scale points here. And then agree, disagree. Great. If we want agree over at the end, we can change it. We can change it by reverse order. Whoa, 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 whoa. See that? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Amazing. Oh, okay. Next, we want to add a new block, and now it comes stimuli block. So here in block 3, we want to have our stimuli 1. In the next block, we want to have our stimuli or our B test, stimuli 2. So now, as we do this, hopefully you have either created your stimuli already or know what you want to do, and take the time right now to create your stimuli. After you do that, so I'm going to take the stimuli that we looked at earlier. Michael Bolton. Yes, perfect. This is already saved. Okay, so I'll save this. This will be stimuli 1. Will be stimuli 2. Now this is just for images. If you want to do audio or visuals, or sorry, videos, you can also do this as well. I'm just doing this from, for images. So I'm going to select my graphic in question. I'm going to upload my graphic, choose file, go to, cool. So this is what they'll see. Yes. Insert. And then for stimuli 2, let's create a new question. It'll be a graphic. Build new graphic. Use file, desktop, stimuli 2. Oh Lord. I really don't know how. Okay, moving on. So now we add a new block of questions, and now we can have our close features. So likely or unlikely are you, likely or unlike you, to read the collective mind magazine. Yep. Question, how likely are you to tell a friend about? And I see that I just put in likely, and of course I want to keep this very much the same. Likely or cool. So let's just say that I just have 2 post measures. I hope that you have more. Yeah, that's it. Cool. Just to go for it just a little bit, just to talk about all the different question types. If you are interested in I just love this. It's so cool. It's like there's just so much to look at. If you were to do a video, let's say, or a different stimuli, let's delete this question. Also we can copy this question. Actually, let's say if we want a third question, we can copy it. How are likely to tell a friend about the Head Collective to follow the Head Collective on Instagram. Nice shortcut way of copying your questions. I also see that I have not put these things as force response, so I want to make all these questions that they have to answer. So I can hold shift, click, and then with this validation, force response. Cool. So you have to answer it. Okay. So now this is it. Now let's get into the second part of Qualtrics. So you can understand this all quite well. Now understand that we want to change the look and feel of our survey. So we want to remove the branding of my former alma mater, and we want to just have a preset. Actually, I'll just Mountain Valley. Okay, save. So to change the look and feel, just change the look and the feel right here. As I should have mentioned, but I forgot to because my ADD brain is kicking in. If you want to add a video, just either choose descriptive text, graphic. You can use graphic from URL. You can also put in descriptive text. And when you type in the text, you can have an HTML view, and this is where you can copy and paste the embed code. So let's say that you are actually looking at advertisements. Let's take this video as an example. You can on YouTube go and use the embed code, which is right here. Copy and paste the embed code, go back to Qualtrics, and then just paste the embed code in the HTML view here. So again, what to do? If you want to include a video instead of a picture, you want to create a new question. I like to just have just descriptive text, because that removes any of the choice stuff that you have to later delete, which is annoying. Click the question text, click HTML view, go to YouTube, and when you're in YouTube, you can share, click the embed code, copy and paste the embed code, and then paste it and make sure that HTML view is on, and there you go. Cool. Okay. So let's block options. Let's delete this block. We don't use it anymore. Here you see unused questions. Isn't Qualtrics? I love this program so much. Okay, so we've talked about the look and the feel. Now let's go to the survey flow. Now this is important specifically for your A/B tests. The reason why putting your questions in blocks were so important is because now we see the blocks of questions in front of us, and we want to make sure that respondents are placed in one of two blocks. Either they see stimuli 1 or stimuli 2. Let's go ahead and delete these elements. And after we want to add a randomizer, so they're randomly put in, and we want to show them one of the following, and this will be, they're shown block stimuli 1, or the randomly shown stimuli 2. Now the randomizer, you'll see randomly present 2 of the following elements. We want to say, actually randomize only 1 of the following elements. So now we want to save the flow and preview our survey. So to preview your survey, just click the preview button. And to fast track, so you'll see that if you click next, you'll see the force validation has popped up. Actually, by clicking next on the consent, I see that this is not force validated. So I'll go and do that before I do anything else. Right? Okay, preview. Now I can't click next. It will ask me these questions, so I can click on tools and click ignore validation. We click ignore validation. No hidden questions. No thanks. Next. Next. Measures. Next. So here we see stimuli 1. Next. Next. Great. Okay. Let's restart the survey. So let's click through. We see stimuli number 1 again. And so now we see that for this person, they would actually see stimuli number 2. Yeah. Cool. So we see that our randomizer has worked, that our questions require force validation. And yeah, really the important thing is that that our respondents are automatically and randomly placed into one of the 2 conditions for our A/B test. Oh, this should have been deleted. Groovy! Party! Okay, awesome. So now the other last things to talk about, some really cool things. We can also talk about skip logic. So for example, if people do not consent to the survey, they shouldn't get access to the rest of the survey. So we can also add skip logic. This is also nice if you want to create more intricate surveys in which, you know, if you see this, then you are asked these questions. If you see that, you're asked these questions. You can do that with skip logic. But for now, let's just, look at skip logic and just use the bare minimum. So if no is selected, if they do not consent, then they will skip to the end of the survey. Done. And let's test that. We preview our survey. No is selected. Too bad for you. Hey, last pin to cast. Cool. So that's that. Great. It's the basics. God, I love this program. When you feel comfortable and confident, you can go ahead and publish. It will give you, there's this survey score. It will assess kind of how you've asked your questions, etc. This is what recommendations optimized for mobile. We want to go ahead and publish, and if we publish, we will be given a hyperlink. Now, if you want to post this on social media and you don't want to include a hyperlink, actually probably the hyperlink is easiest if you put it in your bio on your Instagram profile. But let's say that you're putting flyers up around town. Who knows? We would say something along the lines of, okay, not data and analysis, no thanks. We would want distribution. And then we can create, it automatically creates a new QR code, so we can download the QR code, place it somewhere so people with QR readers or smartphones can automatically be linked to this, linked to our survey. So cool. And lastly, when we start getting into downloading data, let's say that you have next week you've created your survey, you've sent it out, you want to get your data, then just go to this data analysis tab, click it, and you want to export your data, and you want to export it as either a CSV or an Excel file. That's it. Cool. Okay, well, I hope that this has been a wonderful explanation, and I will see you guys at some point in life. Bye for now.